Hey everybody, I'm Tyler. This is my co-host Brad, and today we're answering the question, what does the fox say? And by fox we mean your PC. You didn't see that video?
I can't recall what you're talking about.
What does the... I can't do too much of it. It might be copywritten.
I'm sure if I saw it, I'd probably remember. At the moment right now, I'm drawing a blank.
We're going to have to pull that up after.
I'm totally drawing a blank. There you go. I'm going to roll, and it doesn't matter what I get because I rolled a 19 to know I forgot.
Yeah, but the DC was set at 30.
That's right. I had no hope. Remembering, intelligence check to remember was not good enough because there was no hope for remembering. Unfortunately. Yeah. But it rolled really good.
That rolled really good. Check out our, stick around to the end to see when we tested this guy
because you are not off to a good roll.
You better act up.
They're all afraid of Tyler. He's too quick to throw him into jail. He's like speaking of finding your character's voice, it's like Tyler's voice. He's the guy that throws the second an infraction of the dice laws in jail. There's no gray line. There's no gray. It's just a line.
I'm like Nail from Stormlight Archives, but exclusively for dice.
That's right.
Guys, so here's the thing. The other PC, the BBEG, the NPC, they just stopped talking. Now what?
Oh, I'm supposed to talk right now. I don't know what to say.
We've all had that feeling. You know, you're at the table.
I never have. I always have something to say.
I'm sure at some
because
point.
Because I just roll with it.
Maybe to smaller degrees.
Just kidding. I'm sure we all have. I'm sure I have. When I first played it, I was like,
Whenever.
I remember when I started playing. It was a long time ago.
That's right.
The books were different.
Well, sometimes you're sitting there and...
I don't remember what edition I'm playing.
The NPC...
I quote a rule. They're like, that's not a rule. I paused it. No, okay, you're right. Proofs editionitis. It's a real condition. Sorry. Sidetracked. All right, let's get back to the actual video. Just gonna tell you guys, I just roll with it with whatever comes out. You just go with it.
If you're not Brad,
if you're not me, and you're not sure what to do,
and the
it's your
NPC
turn to
just
talk.
said something like, I think your idea is terrible. We should do it this other way. And you sit there and go, oh, geez, what do I say? There's two ways out of it. The first...
Just two?
Yes.
Oh, that's simple.
Exactly two.
That's simple. I like simple solutions.
The first is you can always just take a step back and say DM, like address them as the DM. Don't try to be playing your character and muddle through it and say, DM, this is what I want to get out of it. And if you're somebody that's just like uncomfortable or not as good with role playing, a DM should find a way to kind of ease you into it, maybe help prod you along.
DM tip, help new players.
Right. And ultimately, it can come down to, I want to persuade this person. So they say, okay, go ahead and roll a persuasion. You roll the persuasion. It's better than that. It's better than that.
You're really bad.
It's
better 5 and 2 to 5. Stop rolling. Stop rolling.
You roll a persuasion. Hold on.
No.
I'm just... It's threatening.
Threatening is not inspiration.
Look at that, though.
The nat 20.
The
nat 20 comes out.
The jail box comes out. It starts acting up.
The dice was afraid.
So.
All right, back to your point.
So my point is you roll a nat 20 and the DM helps you fill in the gaps. They say, oh, you started to talk about this or that. And they sort of bridge the role play for you. And that's cool. And that's fine.
Which is well within what the DM does. The DM is there to dictate and storytell the way it happened, right? That's the DM's job. And so don't feel like there's too much on you as a player sometimes if you're not sure,
right?
You know, what to do or how to say it,
yes.
right? Just kind of let the party know or let the DM know what you want to do in the situation so they can help you navigate that dice roll that hopefully is not what Tyler rolls all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's not good.
Hey, 1 out of 5, dude. That's
1 out of 5 is
better
pretty
than
bad
most
odds.
baseball players.
I don't watch baseball, so whatever. It's worse odds than my red dice. Ooh, my DM dice.
His DM dice are wicked.
Literally.
So the second way,
wickedly good.
The second way to navigate that situation is to, be creative, let yourself be inspired. try to go ahead and role play it. And in this case, you're trying to indicate to the other people at the table as well as the DM, I'm talking in character to this other person.
Right. So again, you're not saying though that like and when we say this, it doesn't mean you have to have an accent for your character. You don't have to come up with some different voice for your character, right? At least when we play at our tables, right? We always assume when you're talking, when you're saying something, it is always in character, right? If it's not a character, you need our cue is like you literally say, not in character, and you say something, right? Though we all know we're not role playing off of that. But if you're gonna role play and play off of that though, it means you have to have some semblance of an idea of who your character is, right? And that probably goes into things like who your race is or your background or other factors,
which is supposed to make it fun, and it's supposed to help guide your role play. If I'm a dwarf, maybe I'm a little gruffer. And you know, there's a tinge of voice that I just added to it that makes it really easy to differentiate between whether I'm talking or when I'm talking. Or you know, not to make this all about accent, but my mannerisms are gruffer. I have a little less empathy maybe, and because that's the way I like to play my dwarf or whatever. Or you know, my dwarf treats everybody like he's holding an egg, and he's just like, "Are you all right?" But personality can couple along with that. Your race, your class, your background should inform you on good ways to roleplay. That's the whole reason why you have those traits that you fill in.
Right. Are you the grizzled soldier who's seen a few battles, right? And he's got a couple scars. And so, like, you know, he's not jaded by life. It's like, bad things happen. And so he's just very impassioned by it all. Like, whatever, I've seen it all. You think that was bad? Oh, man, let me tell you a story, you know?
Yeah. And there's a lot of, I think, backgrounds that have the trait, like, I have an anecdote for every situation or whatever, right?
Yeah, that'd be a fun one to actually try.
Well, yeah.
Actually come with actual anecdotes to the table. That'd
totally.
Be. But, and again, as you're saying though, too, like, you know, play off of those things that you're coming up with your character, their background, like to give your character his voice. Like, how are you going to respond in those situations, right? You know, it's good to think about where your character came from so you know how to move forward.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and so this first part is like, lean on the resources at hand. Books help like fill in a lot of those gaps. You pick your background, you get a set of traits already. So lean on that reading. Take some thought, think of stuff and you know, integrate that stuff into your character. Now beyond that, maybe the next step beyond that is just being creative. And so if you're being creative, that's where we get into the realm of maybe an accent or some sort of personality or tone. So I have a few things written here that I'm just going to read off verbatim because they're kind of good. Like, you could be a deeply serious character. Like, so if you're deeply serious, that's going to affect your tone. It's not an accent though. Right. You could be somebody that's kind of smirky or sly, or you could, like the soldier that's seen a few too many things. Maybe he's very ominous.
Right.
You could be high pitched. You can be low pitched.
Be careful going in that corridor because, you know, I've seen things that happen when people just go down there by themselves.
Yeah. I'm playing that character. I'm sitting there going, well, good luck. And
good luck with that one.
Wait, what does that mean? And it's like, whatever, man.
Have you ever seen a guy break his legs falling into pit trap? Well, let me tell you, the breaking the leg was not the bad part. What do you mean that was the bad part?
We had to get him back out.
No, it was the spike through his chest. Oh,
that's the bad part.
That's the bad part.
Really
pit trap with spikes.
That is really the bad part. And so, like, some tips to kind of help you fill in maybe that creative part, because I mean, the obvious tip is, like, you know, lean on the book, read through the book. If you don't like the character traits that are written for your background, feel free to look at another background and look at its character traits.
When I think I'm trying to find a voice for PCs as a character, right, or even for an NPC, I may be role playing, right, as a DM.
Yeah.
I actually like to look at, like, think of other media, TV shows, movies, even books, and say, like, what character do I know a character somewhere else that I'm kind of want to start at? Like, it's a starting point. Like, oh, maybe I really like, Batman. Like, oh, I'm gonna start with a kind of a Batman tone, or maybe Batman's not as much. I want to be kind of more Boy Scout, like, like Clark Kent, right?
Sure.
You know, or you want to say, like, I'm actually looking for somebody who's, you know, maybe a little shady or something a little different. So you might find a character from some of the media, you know, and I'm sure we could all, have lots of movies and things.
Sure.
Hopefully you're somewhat in the world, you know, pay attention to some things like that and you actually involve yourself in something like that. But anyways, but TV shows, movies, books, you know, whatever. And it gives a good inspirational where to start. You know, and maybe you just want to play it. Like, say, that's what I'm going for. I'm just going to play that, and it's a good way to kind of come with examples for it.
Absolutely, the cynical Wolverine quote: "I'm the best at what I do, and what I do is not very nice." You know, like that's a great basis for this is who my character is, and it helps you when you're in those role play situations to just be like, That's, I mean, not to draw too much, but it's like that's my totem in Inception. That's what brings me back to the real world
Right.
and like keeps me grounded. And I remember, oh yeah, my character's about this thing, because you get into the situation, and sometimes, I mean, even talking to an NPC or something can be frustrating.
Right.
And you're like, what do I do to make them? Or it can be scary, like, oh shoot, like this ruler is about to like take my head.
Right.
What do I do? I don't want to go to jail. What do I do? And like go back to your totem and get your head out of that and,
Right.
and get back to your base of who your
Well,
character is.
and again, too, I mean, there's always things that probably, I mean, it's a funny moment of the game. It kind of takes you out of it. You guys are all laughing, whatever, right? But you want to get back in that character moment, right? It's kind of, if you have that kind of, like you said, that totem or something that kind of center, like, yeah, like I'm trying to, kind of start from that ground root of that character, like Wolverine or something like that, right? It gives you to kind of get you back in the moment and going for it.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
and I always like it when you say sometimes you're, with your character play now, who you channel.
I channel Ron Swanson from, and I bet a lot of people do this. I'm not the only one. Even another guy at our table has done this with other previous characters, and I liked that idea, so I stole it. And I channel Ron Swanson. He does have an alternate ego of Duke Silver.
Right.
He's very do-it-yourself oriented. He's very no nonsense. He cares about rule and law and responsibility, but he hates it when bureaucracies are too big or
Right.
bloated and stuff.
Right. and again, too, it's really fun when you sometimes you tell me that, like, oh, I just got to channel my inner Ron Swanson real quick,
Yep.
and it kind of gets you back in the moment with your character, kind of,
Yes.
like you center where you're going.
Yes.
And I will say too, like it's back to the accent thing too, real
Sure.
quick.
Yeah,
it's.
the voices.
I mean, if you feel like you want to do an accent, man, just go for it. Like,
for it.
I mean, the thing is, I think everybody will understand and know at your table. Like, you're not a professional actor or voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as I wish I was, I'm not.
Oh.
And I recognize that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to try it, just go for it. Don't feel bad. I think, again, at least, with our table, every table I've been at, I don't think anybody would sit there and look at me like, dude, like, why are you even trying that? It's like, yeah, you want to try it, then go for it. And I think they even acknowledge, like, hey, good job, good try, dude. Like, they kind of pat you on the back and, why did make you want to keep trying oftentimes.
Right. Pro tip, like anything else, it just takes like practice.
Sure.
And I like to take this dwarf that I channel Ron Swanson through, which is perfect. And I channel what I try to do, kind of a more like Scottish accent.
Right.
There's a scene in Harry Potter, in the first one, when Oliver Wood's explaining his first Quidditch match, and he says, I don't know, I took a bludger to the head 2 minutes in, and I woke up 2 weeks later in the hospital wing. And it's like, that's terrible. I just did it, and it was terrible. But it
kind of gets you going.
Make it a little more gruff, and now I'm talking like Bronstag does at the table.
Right.
And it's not the worst, but it's fun for me. I
it's
enjoy
actually
it.
I think it's fun for everybody at the table.
Right.
It is actually everybody at the table. I don't think anybody at the table says, "Oh man, your accent sucks." Like, everybody loves it, and it's cool, right? And again, too, like, you think about too, like, an idea is if your accent is different or kind of off, like, oh, you don't really sound Scottish, but that's okay, because, dude, we're in a fantasy game, right?
Yeah.
And who knows where your character's from, right? It could
Yeah.
be his dialect or his accent, and just kind of adds more flavor to the world. I think any
Sure.
DM would acknowledge and would love that kind of somebody adding that flavor and enhancing their own world they spent time to create, right?
Yeah. I mean, your voice can be as simple as a Yoda. You just put the verbs at the beginning of your sentences.
Right.
Or something.
that'd be great
you
to do.
you just put the subject at the end of the sentence like Yoda does.
Go to the tavern, we must.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's really
Draw
simple.
your swords, you will.
Yeah. Maybe some final pro tips that we have about finding your voice. We've seen a lot of people do this with a lot of success. Reddit is just flushed with a lot of people saying, like, oh, what does this kind of character or race or whatever sound like? Say, what do they do? Maybe the best use of this. Okay, so you can find these lists online of like cool, fun phrases or things. Oh, buy my beard, or don't dig over your own head, lad. And it's like, what does that mean? It mean you're being stupid, but in a mine, you don't dig over your own head.
Right. Well, and I think it is a really good example of, like, if you're trying to figure out like how to give your character voice, right? I mean, take some time outside the game, right? Yeah. And that downtime out in the real life, right? And give your character, like, take a minute and brainstorm some cool ideas or phrases you might say or pop out. Like, why would you say this, or why would you say that, or like you said, like, when somebody's being stupid, you say, don't dig a hole over your head, right?
Yep.
It's like, it's a very dwarvish thing to say. Well, a lot of people understand it. No.
Yeah.
Right. But it's totally in character for you, right? And it's really cool. And again, it enhances the game. And so just matter to taking some time to brainstorm and think of some things that you might do.
Yep.
I mean, as a DM, I went to my group and said, hey, I want to enhance my world. And I said, hey, I'm looking out for anything you guys can think of. here's a few ideas that I've started with, right? But I'm looking for, different phrases that people might say in different cultures, right? You guys made your characters from all over the world, right? Think of something that makes sense. If I like it too, we'll throw in the game and I'll give you some bonus XP or something for it, right? But I mean, you can oftentimes have ideas. You just got to roll with it and throw it out in there and see if it works.
Absolutely. And every table culture should be open to these things.
I think so for sure.
I actually think that it would be highly dysfunctional if people made fun of people for that. Well, okay, so the best use of that.
Maybe not the best table, but if people are making fun of you for doing it, then just go find another table that's okay. Because honestly, that's just a fun aspect of the game.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, and one of the best uses of somebody taking time away from the table to kind of come up with like phrases and things that their character would say was probably your brother's wife.
Oh yeah,
we did
with her gnome.
Yes, we did a Strahd one shot. Her gnome was
trying to use gnome in everything they said, like
everything.
No mercy.
Yep.
It's a misnomer.
No mistake.
No mistake.
Yeah, it was.
It was hilarious. Oh, it was so funny.
Good.
Just kind of poking fun at the fact that she herself was a gnome, right? And again, everyone's gonna make puns usually at you being a small character often, right? But it's kind of throwing it back out there saying, oh yeah, let's eat this up. I'm not just small. I'm a gnome.
Yeah. So we're going to put this in the description too.
You know me.
But here are your Motley Mimic. You can always say these in any scenario, and it will at least buy you time. It doesn't matter if you're talking to the king or the urchin or anybody. Here's some phrases you can say. Let's do one at a time. I'll do the first one.
I want to go first.
Okay,
we're going to roll for it.
All right, that's actually a good idea.
16!
This isn't fair. You know you roll better than me. Okay, here we
No.
You gotta give
you're threatening it. You can't pull
threaten it.
Oh, you got to want it. It didn't work. They betrayed him. It's okay, everybody. This is what it's like at the table. He really rolls like this all the time.
So bad so often. It's statistically wrong.
It's why with his spellcaster he usually makes does saving throw spells because he's the one to roll for it because he knows it won't turn out well.
Right. Real quick. So that guy at your table that always seems to get nat 20s. Statistically, it's fine because I'm the other side of that. That's the reason that guy or girl at your table always gets such good rolls. It's because I exist.
I know. A side point to this too, it has been fun to actually track dice rolls. Have to be rolled. The party rolls that 20s or nat 1s.
Yep.
And it was hilarious to see after 6 months that statistically you guys were unlucky.
I know. I was dragging that
down.
down.
The stats proved it.
Anyways,
oh, it was great.
What's the first one? Read that.
Anyways, going on. If again, as we were saying before, right? If all else fails, you're not sure what to say. If it fits your character, right, you just be like, as the prophecy foretold. And then roll into something, right?
But at what cost?
The other one you can do is so it has come to this.
Or just like in my dream.
Because, wait, you dream. Don't say that if you're an elf, though. Sorry, that doesn't work.
Because you don't dream.
You don't dream. Unless you're, almost dead. Anyways, fun elf lore. Look it up.
Fun elf lore.
Anyways, be that as it may, still, may it be as it may be.
The best. That is so good. There is no escape from destiny.
So why are we going to the mine again?
What's the next one?
Oh, right, because there's no escape from destiny. Right, okay, sorry. Wise words by wise men and wise deeds by a wise pen. Ooh, that's a cool thing a wizard should say.
In this economy, I want to be the bard that does that about everything. That's like the catchphrase. In this economy?
Hey, aren't you going to play at the tavern? In this economy?
This economy? You kidding me?
I'm going to get coppers. I'm not going to get gold pieces.
Yeah. I want to head out of town soon, but I got to go buy some potions.
In this economy?
Everybody's like, what does he mean? Ignore him.
Don't worry about it, because his dream told him.
Oh, man.
Aren't you going to play for our meal tonight at the tavern? But at what cost? Your time, do it. You're a bard. Play the lute, man.
So it has come to this.
So it's come to this. All I am is your lute player. That's all I do is get you meals and rooms for free. Yeah, you cannot roll. You need to stop now, dude, before it's like you're going to be cursed. It's tainted.
Yes!
It was a 12, which is higher than a 5, or 1, or 4, or a 6, or the 8s.
Why don't you take us out?
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll catch you next time. We're Motley Mimic.
You want a what? No, you cannot do that. Okay, I will look it up. It is in one of these for sure. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. That's is this an adventure? No, that's not it. Ah, here it is. You cannot use dark vision in the darkness spell. You need blind sight.